Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 15 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead! Behind the screen, Piper got a piece of it, it comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out, Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle at the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh!
Toward Bryant, you will Glemon, throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to ShawnSierraSports on this Hump Day edition. I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Come on, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, guys, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell next to it, and that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, you can also tweet the show. Tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. Man, I got a great show for you. We get started early at 9 o'clock, at 9:30. My man, Josh Hicks, is going to join us. We're going to talk some Bulls basketball, baby. Bulls basketball. We're going to talk to him about the NBA draft, him about the trades, and get his feel for this team right now. Josh has covered the Bulls for a number of years, and I wanted to get his take on it. I want to see what he's thinking about this new look Bulls. All right. Then at 10 o'clock, my man Nomad is going to join us. We haven't talked Bears in a while, so I want to get some Bears conversation in. There's a couple of issues and questions that we have that are unanswered. I mean, we'll have them figured out during camp, but I just want to touch on those. All right. And who better to do it than with former Division I, D1 athlete, cornerback, Bears podcaster, my man Nomad. All right, so he's coming on at 10. So Josh Hicks at 9:30 at the bottom of the hour, Nomad at 10. Whew, and we got a lot to talk. Well, listen, I need you to get interactive. So whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here in the thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. Like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it, just bring it. Let's check the chat, because Lord have mercy, the chat is jumping. Woo! I mean, Armando Emeterio, Lana Jr. checking in first. What's up? It's a happy hump day morning. Happy hump day. Yes, it is. Michelle Wall's in the house. Happy hump day, peeps, he says. Happy hump day to you too, sir. No diddy. All right, Cornelius Squalls in the Mickey Fiki house. What up? Shawn Sierra sports fans. Let's fly to W. Stop the nonsense. No one cares about that stupid W. No one gives a damn. Start already, yeah, Cornelius. Mr. Chaudet is in the house. Top of the morning to you. Thank you for tuning in, sir. I appreciate you, Betty Mash. All right, Black Diamond coming in here with that blasphemous stuff. Top of the morning, gang. Fly the W. Go. No Cubs, no. Come on. Oh, man, you guys are killing me, Smalls. Too many Cub fans in the chat right now. Hey, Shorty, what are you saying? I had on Jordan stuff all day yesterday while I worked. I was playing playing videos of NBA legends, talking about how much they feared him. Yes. 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 My man King Booker World checking in. What's up, Papa? I said salute everyone. And Shawn, thank you for checking in, my man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it greatly. So, yeah. We stop that, Steve-O. Stop that nonsense. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, Steve added. Oh, you added some shit. Okay. Oh, it was just a flashing W. Now you got the little Boys Town bear. The Boys Town bear. There you go. And that is funny. That made me laugh. The Boys Town. Is that the new nickname for the Cubs? The Boys Town Bears?
White Sox! White Sox! Go, go, White Sox! Let's go, 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 White Sox! We're with you all the way.
There you go, Steve-O. I don't think Steve-O wants me to continue with the Boys Town Bears. Oh, he said he had to make up for it, so he gave me a little White Sox song. That's good. That's good. Oh man, but listen, let's do this real quick. Steve, I'm gonna send this to you, this pic to you. Put it, do me a favor, just put it in the folder. Because if I put it up on mine, if I send it from my phone to the computer and try and upload on StreamYard there, I'll end up on screen. I'll have two different screen. Just add this to my folder. All right, buddy. I just emailed you a clip. But yes, Miss Shawn, that's the song I want to hear. You're darn right it is. But man, we got to get it crack-a-lacking because I said we're getting started at 9:30, and I'm excited. Oh, you guys are killing me. I love it. I love it. You're on me from Jump Street. No Diddy. Well, let's get it crack-a-lacking, baby, guys. You know how we do. It's crazy. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
Pardon me. Let's see. Which way do we go? Which way do we go? All right. There we go. Jamokes. The Cubs with a big win yesterday. Oh, God. I hate when it happens. There we go. Cubs with a big win yesterday over the Cleveland Guardians. Took you back to 2016 yesterday, although it's here. Well, you played a couple World Series games here. It beat him 5-2. Matthew Boyd was on a bump. He got the W for the North Siders. He's 8-3. He went 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 free pass, 5 punch outs. Seiya Suzuki was a man on fire. He is, Charlie. He was 1 for 4 with a homer, his 23rd of the season, driving in his 70th. 7-0. Dude, he's on pace to have like 130-something ribbies. That's crazy. Carson Kelly was 2 for 2 with 2 doubles, bringing his total to 8, driving in his 27th, 28th, and 29th runs of the season. Michael Busch was 3 for 3, driving in his 50th run of the campaign. Next top of the morning, top of the Cubs host the Guardians again tonight at Wrigley Field. First pitch is at 7:06 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on the Marquee Network or listen to it on our flagship station, 670 AM. The probables for tonight's game for the Guardians. Tanner Bybee, who's 4-8 with a 3.90 ERA going up against Showtime. It's Showtime again on the north side. Showtime Managa. He's 4-2 with a 2.54 ERA. Shota's making a second start after coming off the injured list, and I know Cub fans got to be excited after what they saw from his first outing. Was 5 innings of shutout baseball. I think it was 1 hit, shutout baseball, 5 innings. That's Shota was back. Shota was back. So you got your ace back, and number 2, a solid number 2. Or if you can go get another ace and push Shota down to number 2. What a number 2. That's a hell of a number 2 starter in any rotation. Holy cow. So we'll see about that. We'll see how it plays out as the trade deadline. July 31st draws closer. We ain't going to start. We just started the month for July 2nd. So let's go to the next top of the morning topic. The good guys from the South Side. Yeah, they had a rough one down in Chavez Ravine. The White Sox lost to the Dodgers down in Chavez Ravine 6-1. Shane Smith, man, he was on the bump. He got the loss. He's 3-6 on the season. He only went 4 2/3, gave up 6 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 free passes, and 6 punch outs. Lenin Sosa, pretty much the only bright spot, 2 for 3, a double, his 13th of the year, driving in his 23rd RBI on the campaign. Andrew Benintendi with the only other hit that they had. He was 1 for 4 for the good guys. Staying with that, the next top of the morning topic, the Sox are taking on the Dodgers again tonight down in Chavez Ravine. First pitch is at 9:20 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Network or listen to it on their flagship station, ESPN 1000. The probables for tonight's game, Sean Burke's on a bump for the good guys. He's 4-7 with a 4.22 ERA, going up against the future Hall of Famer, Clayton Kershaw, who's 4-0 with a 3.03 ERA. Staying with that, next top of the morning topic, the White Sox are probably going to be on the wrong side of history tonight, as Clayton Kershaw needs only 3 strikeouts to reach 3,000 strikeouts for his career. Most likely going to get it tonight against the White Sox. That's a tough one. Another one. Man. Let's see if anyone else checks in. Brandon Schutz checking in. What's up, Papa? How are you? Thank you for checking in, sir. I appreciate it. According to anyone else, Brandon Schutz. Okay. The next top of the morning topic is this. Very nice. The Skies, Angel Reese, Chi-Town Barbie. She was named the WNBA Eastern Conference Player of the Week. And man, was she balling. 19.7 points, 20 points per game, 17 rebounds per game, 2.0 steals per game. That's a nice week at the office, baby. That's a nice week. 20 and 17 in 3 games, averaging for 3 games. Come on now. Come on now. King Booker World's right. Why are Chicago teams always the trivia answer on bad shit? Rick Gonzalez in the house. He's checking in. Good morning, Shawn. FGB. Good morning, Papa. FGB right back at you, Papa. I appreciate it. Yeah, how about the Astros you didn't talk to? Yeah, the heck with the Astros. I hate those. I'll never forgive those guys for that. But we're talking about Angel Reese. I love it. I love it. You know, she gets a lot of flack. Some of it is I don't want to say deserved, but she brings some of it on herself. But man, people started talking about her. What does she do? She puts her head down and grinds. Okay. She puts her head down and grinds. 20 points, just under 20 points a game, 17 rebounds a game. What the fudge crackers is that? 17 rebounds a game. Whew. That's yeoman's work. Say what you want. You can make fun of all the me-bounds that you want and everything, but you get 17 rebounds, and I think she's only averaging like 2 me-bounds. If you took them all away, she'd still lead the WNBA in rebounding. Rick Gonzalez, he's effing everybody. Mr. Shorty, FGB, FCM, FAR. Green Bay, the Chicago media, and Aaron Rodgers. All in one post, Rick. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Oh, man. Steve, did you get that pic and put it in a folder for me? Yeah, so with the one thing I love about Angel Reese is she's unapologetically her. There's a lot, she gets a lot of flack. And it doesn't stop her. It doesn't stop her from doing what it is she's going to do. Damn. Hasn't come in yet, huh? Come on now, what the heck? That's crazy. I don't know why it hasn't. All right, so we'll just do this real quick. But the thing I like about her, man, there's a lot of people got a lot of things to say about her. Okay, and the one thing that's awesome is that she's not being affected by it, which to me I'm super, super happy. Super, super happy for her because it's easy to get caught up. It's easy to get caught up when everybody's coming at you. You know what I mean? Easy to get caught up. And I just like the fact that she's going about her business, staying focused, realizing that her running mate is going to be without the team for a couple of games, 3 games, and she stepped up big time. So hats off to her. I really love her physicality. I really love her mindset right now. And I don't even know King Booker World, FAOEM. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe I'm the crazy one. And it could be. But moving on to the next top of the morning topic. This isn't Chicago sports, but God bless it. This is crazy. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander signs a 4-year, $285 million Supermax deal. What the hell? What in the blue hell? He signs that Supermax deal. Oh. Wow. Oh. Sorry, Josh. 70. For those of you who can't do the math and aren't very good at math, that's $71 million a year. You talk about timing. Let's see. He led the league in scoring, was the league MVP, was the finals MVP. That's yeoman's work. Team with the best record in basketball. Yeah. Michael's one of the only other people to do that. That's only happened a few times. Shorty said these boys need to be thanking Michael Jordan every day of their lives. You're damn right. King Booker, well, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. It's damn near $1 million a game. What the hell is that? Let's see. It's 4 years, 285. Right. $71.25 million. Jesus Christ, divided by 81. King Booker World, that is $879,629.63 a game. $879,629.63 a game. Rick, you ain't lying. Guess small market teams can pay their players. FGB. Apparently so. Apparently so. That is insane. Wow. You know, here's the crazy part. I don't know if the Bulls will ever, and that's a tough statement to make. I don't think the Bulls will ever pay a player a supermax deal. I don't think they will. You know, Michael's making $30 million his last 2 years. Michael's making $32 million. This is the type of shit that causes us to despise the owner of the Bulls and the White Sox. When he was signing Michael, he said something to the effect of, I hope I don't regret this. You hope you don't regret it. He built you the new stadium that you're in. He packed that sucker year in and year out. And you're saying, I hope I don't regret this. Come on, man. What kind of nonsense is that? And that was it. And it took, he was the only guy to make $30 million a year. Now, mind you, that was back in 96, 97, 97, 98. No one made $30 million for another 30 years. Or just under 30 years it took. 25 to 30 years it took someone else to finally make $30 million. Insane. So yeah, I don't think the Bulls will ever pay someone, give them a super max. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Anyway, here, peep this. We got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome my guy, Josh Hicks. We have a lot of Bulls stuff to talk about because, man, the Bulls, I mean, are they going to have 12 guards and a couple of guys that are going back and forth on the wings? I mean, what the hell? How many guards do you need? And we're going to get his take on the draft and Noah Esengwe. And basically his thought where this Bulls team is going. So keep it locked right here. ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago.
Operator 901, where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushrooms.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency
Do you
line.
know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
and you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
When I'm flying, I put my helmet on, my visor down, my mask up. You don't know who I am. Whether I'm African American, Asian American, Hispanic, white, male or female. You just know I'm an American airman kicking your butt. I'm General C.Q. Brown Jr. Come join us.
No, I don't know though. I'm scared. I mean, you're so...
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Michael Bush, infield squeezes in. There goes Dansby. Pitch line, left field, base hit. Michael Bush, RBI single, PCA in to score, and it's 1-0.
Nice piece of hitting by Michael Bush. They're just doing what they're supposed to do, hitting the ball where it's pitched. RBI.
Swing and a line drive, base hit, out into left center field. Carson Kelly staying high. That'll bang up against the bullpen. Swanson in. Here comes Bush. Throw to the plate, too high. Bush is in to score, and Kelly into third. It's 3-0 Cubs on top.
And 3-hole hitter Seiya Suzuki.
Swing and a high fly ball out towards left center field. Kwan going back. Thomas at the wall, and that one is gone. Oh, a towering fly ball out towards left center field. It just got into the bleachers, and for Seiya Suzuki, it is number 23, and the Cubs add on 4-2.
Welcome back to ShawnSierraSports and Sports Zone Chicago. Those tips courtesy of the Marquee Network. Those are your Cubs, baby. Your Cubs, your Cub fans. Big win yesterday at the Friendly Confines. My first guest today is a good friend of the program. We've seen him on here many, many times. We got a lot of bull stuff to talk. All right. Looking forward to talking to him. You can find him on Twitter at Josh M. Hicks Media. Guys, just welcome back to ShawnSierraSports. Josh Hicks. Josh, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Doing good, Shawn. Hope all is well with you.
Things are good on this side. Things are good. So, man, we got a lot to talk. Let's sit back and let's get it cracking. The Bulls. Noah Singwe. Give me your thoughts on the Bulls drafting this young man from France. 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", something like that. Under 200 pounds. 18 years old, 19 years old, I want to say. What are your thoughts on this young man?
It's a typical Bulls pick. The Bulls are a franchise that has been thriving off of versatility and having long, lengthy wing players that can play multiple positions. this young man clearly has those elements. But the reality is he is a project. He's a development project. He's young. He has to grow into the weight room, his body itself. He has to work on his jump shot. His jump shot's not the best. He has to develop in a lot of different ways. And the reality is, as much as it can be a promising pick, with analysts and other reporters pretty much comparing his ceiling to someone of like a Pascal Siakam. The ceiling can be high for him, but the reality is, can you trust the Bulls to help him develop into that type of level of talent? And the reality is, the Bulls have not shown that. They historically have not shown that they can develop players consistently to exceed expectations. And I can't trust that the Bulls are going to provide that same type of development and growth for this young man. So as much as of a pick it is, that it fits the Bulls regime as far as what they're striving for, I don't think they're going to fulfill their end of the bargain to put him in the best position to succeed, knowing that they've struggled to develop talent over the years that have come through the Madhouse on Madison.
Well, so then let's talk about that, because I don't know if I agree with you on that one. I mean, we could all look at the Patrick Williams situation. That's the low-hanging fruit, because that joker, and he got a second contract. His development has been negative. He might have negative development. It's that joker. But you can't help but look at the development of Modest. You can't help but look at the development of Kobe. You can't help but look at the development of Ayo. You can't help but look at the development of the bench players, of Julian Phillips, people like that. So there has been some development. It just hasn't been to the extent that it hasn't been the big names. I can't even say that because Kobe was a big name. But I mean, Patrick Williams was their first pick, and we wanted him. We're waiting for him. So I don't know if I can hang that moniker on them that they don't develop guys, because there are, like I said, the Julian Phillips, the Dalen Terry's is contributing. Believe me, I'm not putting him in the All-Star game, but Dalen Terry contributed last year. So there is some sort of development. And if this dude hangs around Matas, he might develop just as well as Matas did, and that was really good. And I like Billy. I think Billy is pretty good at developing players. So we'll see how that plays out. You know, I just don't know if I can say this. Bull. I would say maybe before Kobe, the Bulls are really bad at developing. But since Kobe, I think they've done a good job. At least Acme, they've done a good job of starting to develop players. Because in the past, I could say I would say it was a lot more appropriate than now.
Yeah, you can definitely say that. We also have to contribute to the reality of the fact that before the Bulls brought in their shooting coach and development coach,
the one they fired.
Yeah, the one they fired, right? Before they brought them in, you also got to kind of give credit to the players and what they do off the court outside of the Bulls facility. They have professional trainers as well that have grown over time and played a contributing role to their development. So yes, the Bulls, at the end of the day, you can say since Kobe White's growth and development, they've recently have gotten better at slowly but surely turning that corner of development talent. You can definitely say that. But it doesn't dismiss the fact either that the players do put in a lot of work in the offseason outside of the Bulls training facilities, outside of the Bulls training staff. And that
you better, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And because
all that millions and millions of dollars you're making, you better put some work in.
Right. But they're going to the right sources to put the work in. The fact that you're not coming home to the Bulls facilities to trust that they're going to help develop you, that is a startling statement. So I think there is some truth to what you're saying, but there's also the other side of it. Whereas these players are putting in a lot of work and they're not staying in Chicago to do it. They're going to the LAs, they're going to the New Yorks, they're going to the Chris Brickleys, the Drew Hanlons of the world. That's really going to help develop these guys and put them in positions to succeed, knowing that the message that can be said is that they don't trust the Bulls staff to develop in the way that they need to be developed.
Talk to me about the trade, the Lonzo Ball for Okoro. We had another guard. I think Lonzo Ball became expendable because of the play of Josh Giddey. Give me your thoughts on the trade, and how are you happy about the trade? Does it make us better? Your thoughts on the trade, Lonzo Ball for Okoro.
The trade didn't make us better. it made us it just added more depth to the wing position. It doesn't necessarily make us better, because the one thing that Lonzo Ball does bring to the table, whether you want to agree with it or not, yes, Josh Giddey has developed and grown in such a way where he can really handle that point guard. But Lonzo Ball is still a solid point guard in this league, maybe on limited time. And on top of it, you gave him a team-friendly deal. So he wasn't going to make or break your bank. I think because of the fact that with the strides that he has made since his return to the court was detrimental to the development of Josh Giddey in a lot of ways. And I also feel like when you got rid of him, the fact that in previous seasons, especially last season, you could have got a first or a second round pick, and you never took advantage of that. It's the same debacle that you pretty much have operated ever since you made your first season of trades and getting Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine. Every major trade, a lot of those major trades with those top talents, the Bulls have failed to get picks back. And if they did, it was the one pick that they originally traded in the DeMar DeRozan trade that they got back in the swap. I mean, outside of that, you got no additional assets. You just got players, straight up player trading, and that's not going to benefit your team, especially if the players themselves are not going to take that next leap in making your team a success. It's not for superstar talent that we had failed to fulfill the farm system necessary to help the direction the Bulls are going, which leads to a bigger point. The Bulls don't know where they're going. There is no direction. There is no understanding of which path to take to help this team succeed and take this team past the simple play-in tournament that we have experienced the past couple seasons. So Lonzo Ball trade, you knew it was coming, and it made sense, especially with the development of Josh Giddey. But you still could have, if you weren't going to get any picks out of it, you could at least maybe kept him as a good solid backup point guard. So that way, if Josh Giddey got hurt, or if the fact that, he doesn't necessarily play all the minutes that he could play, you still got Lonzo Ball, who's a solid player in this league. And he's a lot better as a backup point guard than most backup point guards in the league as well, especially if you weren't going to keep Ayo or Kobe. You might as well you could have kept that, considering the player that you traded for, who, nothing against Isaac Okoro, nothing against him. He's a budding star that is starting to find himself in this league, especially on the wing position. But like we talked about before, how many guards and wings are you going to have with no real projection of this talent of roster of guards is going to take you to that next level where you need to get back to going into the top tier, top 4 seeds or top 5 seeds, and not necessarily making the play-in tournament every season.
So they got rid of Lonzo Ball, all right, who, he was going to be making $10 million this year, club option for $10 million next year. And then they sign Trey Jones, 3 years, $24 million. So now they go from $10 million a year to $8 million a year. Your thoughts on the Trey Jones extension?
It's not surprising. When the Bulls tend to keep people that they trade for, there's a longevity that comes with that. So it doesn't surprise me that 3 years, $24 million, $8 million for a backup point guard, especially a younger Trey Jones as well. It makes sense. Trey Jones has shown to be healthy. He's shown that he can handle the point guard position effectively. He definitely knows how to keep a team afloat. So it makes sense as to why you want to go a cheaper option in that way, with a healthier body on top of it that you can rely on for the long term. It doesn't necessarily mean, though, that Lonzo Ball was a bad option for just 1 year. It doesn't mean that at all, especially if you can get his stock up to a point where you could trade him the next season to a team like the Cavs or another contender, but actually get some picks back, get some actual value back. It's a difference that you could have done. You could have handled that Lonzo Ball trade a little, that situation a little different.
Josh, you got to stop talking because you're making too much damn sense, bro. Like, stop with your logical path of thinking. I mean, stop it. What the hell's wrong with you? Like, Bulls don't do that. So you mean you actually traded, let him play to raise his trade value to get a higher draft pick? Dude, you're out of your mind. But we don't. That's not smart business. That's crazy. And it's unfortunate. When I put that graphic up while you were talking, this is what we got. DeMar DeRozan, perennial all-star. Zach LaVine, All-Star. Alex Caruso, key cog in the OKC championship team. Lonzo Ball, phenomenal facilitator, and led us to the best record in the NBA in the Eastern Conference when he was healthy. And all we got, I shouldn't say all we got back. Let me not say that. But we got back players. We didn't get draft picks. Are you okay with that? Because now we got Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey is a triple-double machine. He flirts with one every night. Kevin Huerter is a good three-point shooter. I believe he can have a bounce back year. Chris Duarte, I think we released him. Isaac Okoro, he's a physical defensive guy. Now is that what we're trying to do now? Now that OKC showed that defense wins championships, is this the guy we're looking at? Okay, Zach Collins, much better rim defender than Vooch. But then again, me and you are better rim defenders than Vooch. And then Trey Jones. So I mean, are you okay with what they traded? Are you okay with what they got in return? Because Josh Giddey, Kevin Huerter. If Kevin Huerter has another Kevin Huerter season, that's pretty nice to have a nice dead-eye three-point shooter. Then you got the physicality of Isaac Okoro, the rim protection of Zach Collins. Is it really that bad? Because a lot of people are really beating up Arturas Karnisovas.
It's not bad if you're settling. The Bulls standard hasn't always matched their expectations. So when you talk about making the play-in every year or trying to stay relevant and make a playoff push, yeah, this roster works. But you also got to think about the next steps. You just signed Billy Donovan to another extension. Your front office and Acme, Arturas Karnisovas, Mark Eversley, got another extension, which means if you're going to be here for another,
down low.
Yeah, which is the second time they've done this. It's not surprising, right? So since you got these extensions now, you can't just think about how you're going to make the playoffs in the next 2 to 3 in this next year. You got to think about your future. And your future, with you trading your star talent and not getting much assets in return from a draft capital perspective, it limits what you can do in the future. Because if you were to trade these same guys right now and try to flip them, you're not going to get much in return from any of those guys, really. And unfortunately, they missed their window of opportunity to reset the farm system. So they're going to have to deal with this mediocrity of fighting for a play-in for the next 3 or 4 years because they did not take the opportunity to take advantage of the assets that those 3 or 4 players that they traded away could have brought to the table. But they have to make up for it now with potentially Kobe White being on the move, Nikola Vucevic on the move. Whatever you can get for any of those guys, if that was to take place, you need to capitalize on that. And that's the problem. They have failed to do that in previous trades. It's hard to trust that they're going to do the same thing and do something different and expect to get those type of assets back on these next potential moves that may be coming up.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. Are the Bulls deviantly intelligent? Let me explain how. So do you think the Bulls got better with the trades? With Isaac Okoro, with Noah Singwe? Do you think they got better?
I think they leveled out. I don't know. I don't want to say necessarily got better, but I think they kind of just got back to what they originally left.
Okay. So can they move up by the regression? Thanks to Mr. the Greek god Achilles himself, with kid from Indiana. The hell's the kid? The kid who just tore his ACL is Achilles from Indiana.
Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton. He's out for the year. All right. That means Indiana and Miles Turner he's gone. Okay. So Indiana's done. All right. The Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum. He's done for the year. You see them dumping salaries, right? Before they let him go yesterday, Dame Lillard in Milwaukee was recovering from an ACL. So, but he's out. But now they're going to another route. They're just outright releasing him. With all those teams literally going to drop because those are key players, all MVP style players. Can the Bulls just get better and move up? If they're making a play-in, can't they get into the playoffs just by those three teams getting worse and probably falling out of playoff contention? Because, like I said, Boston's selling off contracts. Tyrese Halliburton, and Miles Turner's gone now too. Can the Bulls, by other teams' injury report, can they get better and move into the playoffs and just bypass the play-in?
Yeah, there's always a chance and a possibility for that. But you also got to look at the other teams that are making moves too. The Hawks have made some pretty serious moves so far this offseason. The Knicks are continuing to improve. The Pistons and the Magic made some serious offseason acquisitions as well. They're seeing this time just like the Bulls should be seeing this time. This is the chance for the East to be wide open now. And they need to be aggressive and going after the players that they need to get to take them to that next level. The Bulls have made it known that they're going to make changes, but they're also okay with leveling off if this is the roster that they're going to stick with. We got to see what the Bulls are going to do past July 2nd. We got to see what they're going to do. But there is a chance. There is a good chance that they can move up because of the injuries with the previous teams. But those same teams are making moves to better themselves, knowing that because of that Tyrese Halliburton injury and Indians out of the way, there's a chance that the East is still going to be wide open to go after. And with Boston making those moves, the Bulls have to be just as aggressive as these other rising and emerging teams that at one point were down, but now are making strides over the years to really get back to what they believe they should be at from a playoff perspective. The Magic did good last year. They're building on that. The Hawks were not as good last year, but they made moves to try to fix that with the new front office management. So the Bulls got to be aggressive and doing. They need to do what they did when Acme first got there this offseason. They need to do that in order for them to build, because other teams like the Pistons and Magic and that were lower tier before, they're making moves. Even Charlotte is making moves. They have to get themselves in a position to where if they're going to make the playoffs, they got to keep up with the other teams that are being aggressive and getting deals done. And that's something that the Bulls have shown they can do, but have they been consistent in doing it? Not necessarily.
They can do it. They just haven't.
They've been doing it they should have done it for years.
This team, man. And you know what? And it's the perfect business model, because God willing, say they do get into the playoffs. All right. Say they improve and get into the playoffs. Not even, in the division, not even the Eastern Conference, maybe the Eastern Conference semis. All right. Well, man, they're gonna flaunt that around and show that around like, oh my goodness, look what we did. We're in the Eastern Conference semifinals, blah, 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 blah. We're gonna increase ticket prices 7% again. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if they're flaunting getting into the play-in 3 years in a row, imagine if they actually got into the playoffs for a year or two on what they're going to do to our fans and our fan base. They're gonna parade it around like it's the Larry O'Brien.
But that's the unfortunate part, right? Because what is the Bulls known for? Championships. And we're not just known for championships, but impact across the entire world, an entire sport. You're not going to get that by just barely making the play-in. And then 1 year out of how many seasons that they've been there already, where you only make the actual playoffs one time.
Let me ask you a question. How soon do you think, if ever, we just saw SGA get his crazy ass deal? SGA 4 years, $285 million super max deal. Do you think the Bulls will ever pay someone a super max deal?
I don't think anytime soon. I do think it depends on the player, though. I think it depends on the player, because as much as we criticize Acme, we're also not completely dumb. If someone like a Jokic decides to leave Denver and come to Chicago, they're going to give him the supermax, right? It's just, it depends on the player. But do I trust that in this current state where the Bulls are currently set up with their roster, next 2 to 3, 4 years, if they don't make any drastic changes, someone's going to get a supermax? No. Zach LaVine messed that up for him.
I don't see him giving. I don't see. I'm saying 10 to 15 years, maybe even 20 before we might even think about getting someone else. And you're right. It depends on who they draft. You know, I mean, hell, what if Modest turns into the next Greek Freak? You know what I mean? Then now we're talking, but that's still a ways away. I just don't see it, and that's a shame. Third largest market, and we want to act like a small market. Hell, even the small markets are giving $285 million, so we ain't even acting like that. So that's a damn shame. Hey, Josh, great stuff today, Papa. I appreciate it. Do me a big favor though, before you go, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Josh M. Hicks Media, Instagram, Twitter. Got a lot of things coming your way very soon, so just be on the lookout. Great stuff, man. I appreciate it. You have a good weekend. Happy 4th of July weekend, and don't burn your finger off, JPP. All right? Back at you, Shawn. All right, boss. Later. That's Josh Hicks talking Bulls basketball with your boys. Hope he keeps all 10 fingers after this weekend. I'm laughing, but it's actually not a laughing matter. It's a very serious matter. Don't blow your fingers off, fools. Don't do it. Hey, listen, we're going to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, my man Nomad is going to go. We haven't talked about any Bears in a while. In a minute. I'm starting to twitch a little bit. I'm jonesing. It should be calling me, man. It should be calling me. I feel like Pookie in New Jack City. It should be calling me. We're going to see what some issues could be for the Bears. All right? So don't go anywhere, folks. Nomad on the other side of the break. Keep it locked right here. Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings. I have my dogs. They're the best. I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
It's a romance sport. What? It's a romance sport like that.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, no matter where we serve, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Everybody in a work zone is someone's somebody.
This is my mom. She works for KDOT.
This is my dad.
This is my mom.
This is my daddy.
This is my sister.
This is my daddy.
This is my son, Scott. He was killed while working in a highway work zone. When you drive through a work zone, drive like a life depends on it. Because it does.
Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Yes, sir!
Welcome back to Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Those comes courtesy of Able 267. Yeah, from X. That was the chosen one. Caleb at was a Summer Smash over in Bridgeview. First night, getting lit with some fans, screaming FGB. And I don't have a problem with FGB. I don't have a problem with it at all. Just he's seems to be a man for the people and a man of the people. So he's definitely doing that right. A lot is expected of this Bears team this year. There's still some areas that we want to talk about. So I want to bring in my next guest. Excited to have him on. Good for the program. Excuse me. You can find him on Twitter at Nomad Networking. Guys, just welcome back. My man's in them. I tell you, I sound like a Mabrashad. Everyone's no, because there's only a couple of my mans in them. Like Nomad, Ken Davis. Everyone else is my guy. All right, when I say my man's in them, then you know. But I still starting to sound like a Mabrashad. Whatever back in the 90s, for those of you who remember, you'd always talk about my man Michael Jordan, my man Clyde Drexler, my man, everyone was his man. Let's bring him in. Nomad, what's up, Baba? How are you?
Say my name 3 times like Candy Man. I bet I'll roll on your ass like an ambulance. What's up, man? Good morning, everybody.
Man, I'm glad you're able to get up this early. I appreciate it. I know you're not a morning person, so to have you up and early with us is definitely a pleasure. And I am grateful for it, man.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to be here. Number one, Shawn. Number two, I got to say thank you. Everybody that follows the Nomad Network knows that I had a big issue, man. It was a disaster, man. My MacBook Pro got totally poured on, man. And I couldn't function for the last couple of weeks now. And, and I reached out, and I don't make a habit of doing this. I reached out to the people that support us, man. And you wouldn't believe it, man. It took 3 people with some really nice donations, and actually 2 of them didn't want to be even acknowledged. I had to do that privately. They didn't want to be spoken to online, and it was 3 people that got me a new MacBook, man. And up until this very moment, I've been working. If anybody's ever had a MacBook, they would know that, it's not as simple as a PC to open it up and just start working with it. You got to do some stuff to get it going. And all last night, you already know, Shawn, I was getting my mic settings, camera setting. I was trying to. Man, it's a headache. I just want to say thank you to all of them, man. And, our supporters are the best, dude. All I had to do was ask, and here they were. Man. I'm never going to make a habit of it, but I love those people, man. Some of these people are in here right now, man. I love y'all, man. 110%.
That's awesome, man. But that just goes, that's a testament to you and your character, because people don't just support, help other people like that. You know what I mean? Unless they respect you and they enjoy what it is that you provide for them, and the analysis that you've given them, is top notch. All right, your perspective, your show is first class, and that's what it is. And people, don't have a problem helping someone who's first class, and that's the kind of shit you run over there. You run a first class organization, and no wonder you have so many followers and people who are willing to help you. And that's what we're trying to get over here. Is I have a lot of followers here, and I try and do the same thing and run it first class. But hats off to you for the way you run your company over there, and it's evident by your fans' love and support. So, hats off to you, bro.
I appreciate it. I don't take any of it for granted, man. I appreciate every last one of them. Not a one supporter of ours I don't disregard any of them, man. I appreciate every last one of them. I think it's reciprocated. I think they feel it, man. So I appreciate them so much.
Cool, man. Well, let's get it cracking, man. That King Booker World said, "Real recognizes real, y'all. That's why we support y'all platforms." And that note, and we got $5. You a damn fool, boy. King Booker World, I'm telling you, boy, you gotta get on the road. Let me be your manager, bro. Gotta start hitting some of these improvs, bro.
King a trick, man. I love King Booker World, man. King got him. He got him for you, boy. He's ready at all times too. But,
yes, he is.
Hey, listen, I want to say this before we get cutting, man. I want to say this. Pretty soon, we got this website coming up, and I'll start reciprocating some of the love that's given to us, man. It'll be times when we're giving away merchandise, because there's some nice looking stuff that's going to come out of the network and out of that website. And, you know, at times we'll just give away free prizes and money and all that kind of stuff. I'll be hitting people's super chat up, and not super chat, but Cash App and all that kind of stuff. We're going to get it going, man. We're going to definitely pay it forward.
Dude, that's good stuff. So you, me, all of Bears Nation, this is the worst time. You know, if you recall Pookie from New Jack City, he's like, they should be calling me, man, calling me. And this is the truth I've seen in a long time. The most depressing stretch of the sports year. Basketball's over, football's over, hockey's over. And no disrespect to baseball, but baseball is just not very exciting because it's such a slow-paced game. This is a tough time. And people are making shit up. You see people making all kinds of crazy things up. Cole Kmet's getting traded. Cole Kmet was traded. It's like all kinds of things. But I just wanted to talk Bears because I miss talking Bears. I love talking Bears. And what better guy to do it with than another former D1 athlete who knows football well at a high level like I do. So let's get it cracking. Offensively. All right. Caleb is the dude. Got a new offensive line. Got a couple extra weapons. What do you think the biggest thing for Caleb? If they have to break it into two, cool. But what do you think the biggest thing for Caleb is for him to have a successful year? One that where most fans are talking, all right, 4,000-yard passer, you know, and or 30 touchdowns, passes. What do you think might be the most critical? If you have two, fine. But what is the one thing or two most critical things for Caleb to do this year for him to be very successful, and hence our Bears be very successful?
Again, shout out to the No Maniacs for helping me afford all 22. And, you know, during this stretch of the season, I am not bored whatsoever. You know, it gives me more time to really study on, you know, we got new coaching in the building. We got defensive coordinator, new offensive coach, head coach / and it gives me time to really break down. And when we get to the point where we're talking right now, you can be pretty accurate if you do your homework. And it was pretty clear right after the season was over. I'll give you two just because I love y'all, man. Number one, the most important thing that Caleb can be getting together right now. We just talked about this the other night on the show, and that's footwork. Making sure that his footwork speaks to whatever play that they're calling, the rhythm and the timing of it. That's the key. If his feet can match and mirror the getting back to that back foot and delivering that ball in a short area, and that's going to be the most important thing. It's going to be the quick game, getting that ball out of his hands quick. That left foot forward, right foot forward stuff, we probably differ about that a little bit, but I do think it takes a certain amount of muscle memory after you've done it for so long to get that to where it's seamless to you. That part, and I do believe, and I've said this to you maybe once before, I know, that I believe him mastering the play fake and really selling on that. I think those two things right off the top of my head, just the footwork and really mastering the play fake and selling that play fake to freeze those linebackers for at least a second. That's like gold, man. If he can get that down and really master those two things, I think he's pretty much 3/4 of the way to cracking the code. Now it gets to making sure he sees what he sees and understands it when he sees it. I think those are the things right there.
Okay. The second thing is the ball fake. Yeah. All right, play action. And I think that's important because he's going to be under center a lot. He's going to be under center a lot more than he had been last year, and that's going to be vital. And I agree with you on the importance of that, because if it causes the linebacker to pause for half a second, not even a second or two, not even 2 or 3 steps in, just a half a second, just a freeze. Well, guess what? You're a DB and you understand this. The zone behind it, the space behind them grows bigger. It gets bigger, and there's a lot more area for you to throw, and you don't have to be you have a bigger margin of error for the pass to land for your receivers. And that's important. And you want to make things, and that it makes things easier. Not easy, just easier for him. And that's what you want to do. And that's what Ben Johnson wants to do, make things easier for this guy. And my guy always says, man, if you take care of the little things, there are no big things. If you take it, then a play fake is a little thing. Like, you just got to work on it. but you become good at it, man, it does open up a lot of areas, soft spots behind the linebackers that you can go to work in. And now you're not talking slants and quick hitters. We're talking intermediate to deep, and that's where you get your chunk plays, and that's where you get your 4,000 yards on the season. So those are two good things. How do you think that they're, from what you're reading and your people that you talk to, how do you think this relationship with Caleb and Ben Johnson is going?
I think Caleb is going to get everything he asked for. He wanted to be coached hard. And from what I'm hearing, I listen to a lot of Herb Howard, whatever show he's on, a lot of him and different guys on the beat. And it appears to me that, Ben Johnson ain't going to take it. He's not going to give Caleb any slack. And I think, to me, right about now is exactly when you want to be that towards Caleb. You want to be kind of like a butthole and be just anal about the little subtle things that we're talking about right now, making sure he's really fundamentally sound in the little parts of the game that's going to really open up the little stuff becomes bigger things if you allow them to be. Barking at him, making sure that he's got certain things in his head. Man, get that ball out of your hand. 5-step drop, 3-step drop, fire it. Throw it out of bounds, dirt it, whatever you got to do, but just make sure you're adhering to your footwork. And if that footwork tells you to get rid of that ball, you get rid of it somewhere. There's going to be times in games where he's going to have to go to default Caleb and be that guy he was at USC. There'll be times for that, maybe 2-3 times during the game. But for the most part, you got to be steady, firm in that pocket, really honoring that footwork and the rhythm of it. And so that hard coaching that he's asking for, I think he's going to get it in abundance. And I don't want to see him catch an attitude about that, because it's what he asked for. You want to be great, you ask for hard coaching. Hard coaching will get you there if you respect what's being told to you.
I couldn't agree more. And I've been on plenty of championship teams, coached plenty of championship teams. And that's, to me, Ben Johnson is creating the culture that needs to be present, that needs to be created for a championship aura to be around, for a championship culture to exist. All right. It's hardcore. Like, you're not a kid. All right. You're not a baby anymore. You're a young multi-millionaire. You're a man. You're a young man. Man up. All right. There's so many different cases. One where he was, Caleb, they called the play, and then Caleb didn't kind of get it. He kind of walked out of the huddle and looked, and Ben's like, nope, pointed at his watch, like, we're out of time. I'm not in your headset. Figure it out. And crazy idea. Crazy, good athletes figure it out. And that's the thing that we want, because there's going to be times when a play gets called in wrong, or he doesn't get it all, or they call it in late and he only gets half of he doesn't get the full play. He's got to make it happen by himself. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love that, what he's doing. I love the hard coaching. And the best thing is, and this, for me, this is what I love, when everyone else sees that you're hard on the team's best player, or the face of the team, face of the franchise, everybody else falls in line. Everybody else falls in line.
He's gonna learn. I think he knows this, but he's gonna know it on a different level. It's gonna be a couple of times during the season where Ben will call timeout just to wave him over there and chew his ass, because he's not seeing things in a rhythm that he's supposed to see. The timing coming in and out of the huddle is not right, and you got to get on him. Got to get on him to make sure that, hey, man, look, these guys that you're looking at in that huddle, they're looking for you to lead them. And if things aren't quite coming in to your helmet fast enough, then you got to be ready to call an audible. You still have to lead us. That's the giving in to leadership, and having your teammates buy into your leadership is the most important thing a quarterback can do. You can be the face of the franchise, you can be the leader of the team per se, but if they don't buy into it, he's got to get those guys to buy into whatever he's putting out there on the field. So there's going to be times when he has to call an audible on his own. Something might have screwed up in the headset where he didn't hear the whole situation. You got to be ready to do something on the fly. And it's going to be times like that during the season, no doubt. But the most important thing is getting the people he's looking at in that huddle to believe him. Get them to buy in. And once they do that and they believe in his leadership, and they believe no matter what comes out of this huddle, we got this guy behind the center that can make it right. He's got to get them to buy in. They ain't going to just do it automatically he's got to get him to do that.
Yeah, and you do that by overcoming crisis. Like it'll happen. They'll know, like, oh shit, the play just cut off. All right, you know what? Here's what we got. Boom, boom, boom. And when you see that as a teammate, you see that, and you see that, and it doesn't fluster him. He doesn't. Oh shit! I don't know what to do. Oh man, I didn't get the whole play, and you see that as a teammate, like, oh man, your confidence in him wavers. But if you hear him say, oh, the play got cut off, you know what? Okay, here's what we got. We got this, and this, and this, and this. Ready, break. And they see the way you roll with the punches, and you just make shit happen. That's where the trust comes in. That's where the belief comes in. That's where the running through a brick wall. Because what if you're the receiver that he just called, the play he called, and you score a touchdown? You know what I mean? Now you're ready to do anything you can for this guy because, man, the play was messed up. He called the play on his own. I got the touchdown. Hell yeah, I'm gonna listen to this dude, and it could happen to anybody else. So that's where he's got to grow up. He's got to be a man, and he's got to man up. Is literally the point. And I hope, and I like the way that Ben Johnson's doing this because he's forcing Caleb to do that. And if he does, if Caleb can really get this offense down, and trust, and he's not going to get it down like he's going to have it down for the beginning of the 26th season. It's a whole nother year. But if he gets it down to the point, what do you think his numbers could be? Passing yards, touchdowns, interceptions.
That's a good question. I really hate speculating on that because you know what I think, Shawn, I really can't give you, to be honest with you, I can't imagine what his numbers might look like, but I know this. It's going to be a lot of yak yardage. Whatever. I don't care if he gets 30, 40 touchdowns. I don't care. I don't care if he throws for 4,000 yards. All I care about is the W. That's it.
Hey, you been listening to me, bro?
Man, I don't care. I don't give no damn about none of that, man. I don't care. That's for people that want to argue on Twitter against other fan bases. Oh, yes. That's for them, man. I'm a football guy. I look at the result and how we got there. If Caleb throws for 30 touchdowns, 4,000 plus yards, 5,000, great. That's great. That'd be great stuff to talk about. But if he doesn't, I'm not concerned about it as long as we got the W's and I see growth. That's all I care about, man.
Bro, spoken like a true former player. Look at this. And here's I asked people, I say, what if Caleb never throws for 4,000 yards? Jalen Hurts didn't even hit 3,000 last year. And what did his team do?
Exactly.
They won the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
All right. So do you, and I asked the guys, would you be more than happy to have Caleb not hit 4,000 yards? And we are perennially in the NFC title game, which means we're one step away from the Super Bowl. What would you want? You want the 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, or do you want 6 in 8 years, 6 in 9 NFC title game? Give me the 6 in 9 years the NFC title game, okay? And that's the most important thing. But I also think because of the weapons that he has, you saw. Let me put that back up real quick. You saw what the shit show that they had and the inconsistency and the poor coaching he had last year. He still threw for 3,500 yards with a more competent coach, and with the yak monsters that he has. He's got DJ Moore still. Roma Dunze should take another step forward and become, start to become the star that he was in college, where he led the NCAA in receiving yards his last year at Washington. And then the yak monster himself and Luther Burden that we've seen. You were right on point when you said there's going to be a lot of yak, and that's why I think he's going to have over 4,000 yards. 30 touchdowns, we'll see. We'll see. And let's not forget Colston Loveland. All right, now you got your Sam Laporta type guy in addition to Cole Kmet. I think he's going to have a good year, but I say he's going to get his 4,000 yards, and I say 25-ish, maybe 30 touchdowns. But again, for the most, I don't care about those numbers. I really don't. Give me the dub. Give me the God blessed dub, because you know what? Because then you're going to be nitpicking. If we're 10-3 and Caleb is on pace to have 3,100 yards again, we're going to be nitpicking about that. I'll take that nitpick because we're 10-3. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that people got to understand. It's not about his numbers. Everyone's quick to throw in. We've never had a 4,000-yard passer. Caleb, can he do it? No, can Caleb win? That's the bottom line.
Period. Point blank, man. I think 4,000 yards is achievable, but in the way that a lot of people in the fan base are imagining it, I don't see it happening. You can go attack and defense and with an aerial attack, trying to get down the field, score fast, and all that kind of stuff. There's ways to really achieve your means and get that W, or you can, which I see over and over again on the all 22, this other way, and that is moving the chains and ball control, playing great defense. That's the way, to me. You talking about the Philadelphia Eagles for an example. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. Ball control, moving those chains, and playing great defense around it. And you simplify the game that way. You got to run. You got a couple of running backs that can come in and be interchangeable. You know this whole thing about Caleb. He's gonna touch some numbers, and how he gets there. That's an argument for other people, but I don't care. I don't care. Ball control, move the chains, and when the time is against your back, be the quarterback you want to be, and really lead and take control of those tough time management moments. You late in the game, you're down by 6 or 7, and you need to get at least, let's just say we got 8 minutes on the clock. You need to at least get a field goal out of the situation. You're going to get the ball back again, try to take the lead. Get those moments taken care of. Get those little things like that taken care of. Those are small things, but they're huge. Move the chain, be efficient, get points when you're supposed to get points, do your job. Don't be the reason they don't. And that's not asking a lot of a quarterback.
No, I agree, especially and I'm glad you tossed me the Yoop, and Cornelius said, who needs 4,000 yards when Saquon can get you 2?
Exactly.
Well, that's the whole thing. One of the issues that some people have is this running back room. All right. Some people are happy with DeAndre Swift. Some people don't like DeAndre Swift. So I'm not a big fan of Roschon Johnson. Some people don't like the draft pick, Kyle Monangai. Other people, I like Kyle Monangai. All right. Running back, the RB2 position is up for grabs. Okay. Your thoughts, Kyle Monangai, is Kyle Monangai going to get the bulk of the RB2 carries, or is it going to be an RB2 by committee? Or are they going to have their own special jobs, special situations amongst the 3 running backs? And I mean, let's not forget Ian Wheeler's back. Remember him from Hard Knocks. He's back off ACL. So they have some other running backs, but for all intents and purposes, it's DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai, and Roschon Johnson.
I'm glad I was just going to bring up Ian Wheeler too. I think he shouldn't be left out of the conversation. He's coming back from a serious knee injury. How serious? I don't know the depth and detail of it, but he looks pretty good. He looks strong. I think we're going to find out exactly who's who, what's what within the first week of practice, padded practices. When that happens, I'd say within that first week, they're going to know either we have what we have inside that building and we're good with it. We'll be able to function at a high level, or they're going to have to reach outside the building and go sign a guy. There's a couple of guys out there that should be talked about, but we'll do that at another time. But I do believe the offensive line, once they get the symmetry in practice and when they put on pads, it's going to look good. When they don't have pads on, people are going to be hooting and hollering, oh, did you see such and such? Did you see? That's when they ain't got that ain't football, man. When they put the pads on and you start hearing the crackle, let's see who has what then. I do feel good. I personally, Roschon Johnson, I believe he likes a little wiggle. And I think where he stands out as a difference maker next to a Kyle Monangai, I think he's a better receiver out of the backfield. And I'd say it's Roschon Johnson's to lose, number one. But when can those other guys sneak in there and take some carries from him? Depends on how nice he is between the tackles and when his number is called. And it's like for me, if I'm coaching inside that building, I'm just gonna give them all the same amount of reps, and I'm gonna go with the hot hand, and I believe what I see when they put the pads on. And I'll just let that tell me what I need to do.
Yeah, I agree. And this, Jerry Glanville, and talked about it the most about the combine. Like they're in shorts and a t-shirt, shorts and helmets like that. You can't judge a football player by them. All right. Which is why I got a man crush on Kyle Monangai. I think he's Ashton Genty without the speed. I think you watch his contact balance. You watch his burst through the hole. He just can't take it to the. He ain't taking it. He ain't making house calls. Let's just put it that way. Okay, which is fine. It's fine. Okay, because I'd rather bludgeon the body to death. You know what I'm saying? You need 3rd and 4. He gets 4.5. You're like, son of, bring out the chains. Made it by that much. Move the chains. That's demoralizing for a defense where you think you stop on, and he got it by less than a yard or a yard. And I think, and he's a powerful guy. He doesn't get knocked over easy. First contact usually doesn't knock him back. I am a big fan, and the biggest reason I love him, I love this young man, Nomad. This joker loves the pass pro. That's going to get his ass on the field before anything else, because you know he can run the ball. He led the Big Ten in rushing 2 years ago. I think he was second last year in the Big Ten. Come on, man. You know he can run the ball. That's no cupcake. It's not 1AA. That's not FCS. That's FBS. That's big boys. Those are the jokers that get drafted on those defensive sides. And he led the league in rushing. Come on. And second last year. Come on, man. He can run the ball. He can pass pro. I think he's going to be a bigger surprise than most people think because he's a 7th round pick. Your thoughts on Kyle Monangai?
I like everything you're saying. I love, that's one of the first things that stood out about Kyle Monangai when I watched him was a pass pro. I thought he was elite at that level.
He's daring you to come so he could jack you under the chin, bro. And he's busting chins.
he's compressing that spring down, and he's gonna uncoil on you. And at his size, you be honest with you, I hate to sound like the pessimist here, man, but I don't know. It's gonna be some bigger. You got to do that. The difference between somebody being really, really good in college and being really, really good in the pros, you're going to have a game like Kyle Monangai might face Ohio State in the Big Ten, be the toughest game he saw all year. But you're going to face Ohio State every single week and plus 10. You got to do that consistently now. Can you hold up as his body? He's made right physically, the way his physique is, he's made right to do it. But, anybody less than 220 pounds, blocking like that ferociously, you got to wonder how long he can hold up. When somebody's a big linebacker like Malik Harrison or somebody with the Steelers or somebody comes bearing down, how many times you gonna be able to stick him full speed coming at you like that without hurting yourself? Little things like that. But as far as I'll say this to you, man, to be completely transparent with you all about what I seen on film with Kyle Monangai. One thing I am a little pessimistic about, I don't know about that wiggle, man. I don't think he has a lot of wiggle.
No,
I don't.
He doesn't.
But I do believe he's going to be valuable in the short area, short yardage situations. I think he's a nice back to have, really nice back. But that's where I'm at a wait and see situation with Kyle Monangai. I want to see what happens when they put the pads on. I believe that he's going to be a tough running back. But let's just say, I was probably about 50-50 with him as a receiver out of the backfield. I don't think it's very, very natural when I looked at it. But I do think you can improve. He just needs to be around the jug machines often and take as many reps as he can catching the ball. That's why I think the more natural hands guy is Roschon Johnson. And, we'll see what happens in camp once they put the pads on. But I'm cautiously optimistic about Monangai. I do think he has some traits that they can use.
The one thing that I like about him, you talked about the lack of wiggle. I couldn't agree more. But what he does have, he has very sharp cuts. All right. When he cuts, he creates space. And unfortunately, he doesn't have that home run speed, but that allows him to get past people and make, a 5-yard run into a 9 to 10-yard run. All right. Because he'll get by you. And you might be, if you're a quick DB or a linebacker, you might be able to catch him, turn around and regroup. But his cuts are sharp, and if you watched it, that's the one thing that I noticed because that was my game. I wasn't really fast. I was a 4.5 guy, all right. But my cuts were sharp. Like I knew how to set up DBs and linebackers if we're in space to get them off balance and cut off them, and I see a lot of that in him. And to me, that's why I like him again because he doesn't have greats, he doesn't have phenomenal speed, he doesn't have a home run speed, but his ability to cut allows him to keep going. In addition to his contact balance, that even if you get an arm on him, that arm ain't bringing him down. So yeah, he ain't a lot of wiggle, but his cuts to me are sharp, and I think that's going to be very important in his success this year. But
those yards after contact, man, he's really good at that, man. He'll bounce off. He'll bounce off a lot of tackles, man. You know, the speed of the game and how fast it is on a consistent basis, how fast a hole will close up. You know, those are the little things that Kyle Monunga is going to he's got to get used to that. You know, the only way you get used to that is the straight reps. You know, about another thing that I noticed about him that I like is how strong he gets later in the game, man. You just keep feeding that guy late in the game, and he gets stronger, and he's just beating your defense down. The thing about that is, Shawn, is where's he going to see those? He's going to see at this point in his career, if he gets lucky, he'll see 5 to 7 touches in a game. That's being very, very generous, taking advantage of any touches that he gets. You know, he's not going to have time to get his rhythm like he did at Rutgers, you know, getting that ball 20, 25 times and getting a rhythm. No, he's going to touch that thing 5, maybe 8 times if he's lucky. And what can you do with those touches when you get them?
That's a good point, because but I do think that Ben's going to, if he wins the outright second RB2 job, if he wins the RB2 job, he'll have more, in my opinion, he'll have more than maybe 10 plus carries. All right, he'll have 10 a game, and because Ben Johnson loves to run the ball.
Give me a second, man. Give me 1 second. I got to do something right quick.
Yeah. I think that there'll be we'll take him off till he gets back. Just give me a thumbs up. I think he's going to be, because Ben's going to want to run the ball. Okay, because Ben wants to run the ball. I think he's going to be able to get some momentum, especially toward the end of the game. Okay. I think they're going to start off the beginning of the game running the ball, play action. Okay. And then once we get up, if you get up 10 points, that's 2 scores the defense has to make up. That's 2 scores. I'm comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with DeAndre Swift, too. Don't get me wrong. He made a believer out of me last year. Said it here plenty of times. I didn't think he was a run between the tackles guy. I don't think he's a long-term solution to running between the tackles. But that joker ran between the tackles a lot last year. And he's great on the outside. We saw some phenomenal plays from him on the outside. But his ability to hold up after running between the tackles last year really impressed me. I didn't think he had that game in him. Didn't. Okay? Didn't think that at all. Proved me wrong. Now you got 2 guys who are you got 2 guys who can run between the tackles. So when you got a lead, I think he's gonna be a big help down the stretch. And I think short yardage, I think that's where Roschon really does his best work, or gonna be a like a Marion Barber type guy. All right, when he was former Cowboy, former Bear, rest in peace, he passed away. But I think he's going to be that type of stuff. You back with us, Nomad?
Yeah, man, I apologize for that. I got a straight up Wild Kingdom situation going on in my backyard, man. It's just animals, little groundhogs and squirrels, all trying to get to that garden and shit. Man, dude, you have no idea, man. It's just dealing with that. I want to call animal control, but I know what happens to those animals, so I ain't doing that, man. I just chase them.
But this house says DeAndre played well for Ben Johnson in Detroit. Gibbs is just better. Yeah, but I don't know if you're saying it if you're trying to diss DeAndre. But yeah, Gibbs is better, but that doesn't mean DeAndre Swift isn't good. And we saw last year he had 966 yards rushing last year with that shit offensive line and the shit play calling. He was just a tick under 1,000 yards with that horrible situation last year. It's not getting twisted. So I think he'll be number RB1, but RB2 is going to be, I think it week 6, 8, I think that belongs to Kyle Monunga, and in short yardage situation, I think that's Rojo. Sorry.
Shawn, let me tell you, I will engage in a slap fight with anybody that wants to about DeAndre Swift. And I think DeAndre Swift, and I've said this, I've thought this for a while, I think DeAndre Swift is one of the better running backs in the league. You know, they had a rough-looking season because, you know, all people see is the results. That's what they see. They see the results, and they're just like, oh, that was a bad deal. It was a bad we shouldn't have signed him. He's a man. Listen, DeAndre Swift is a hell of a running back that, he suffered just like anybody else in that offense with the bad functionality of an offensive line. This guy is going to be really, really good in this offense with the improvement of that offensive line, the way Ben Johnson schemes up plays. And this goes for not only DeAndre Swift. Every running back in that room is going to get a different kind of opportunity because the way he's just the sequencing of the plays that Ben Johnson calls. You see that on the All-22. He sets teams up just constantly, man. He'll constantly do the same thing. Next thing you know, boom, he'll do something else out of it, like handing the ball off on an inside trap to a running back. You do that a few times in a row. And on that third play, it looks like the same thing. Next thing you know, it's a fake handoff, and he's in the middle for a running back's in the middle for a bubble screen that's blocked up perfectly, and boom, there it goes off for 45 yards. Stuff like that you see over and over and over again on the All-22. He's really good at the schematics and the timing of when he calls something. You know what I mean?
Yes. I couldn't agree more. Sorry, just giving just co-signing on that one.
Go ahead.
No, I was just co-signing. So yeah, his timing is impeccable. It's great. He has a great sense of it, and but the reason I also think that there's going to be more carries. There can be more plays. They're going to continue to get first down. Like the Bears, the new offense is not a greatest show on turf, and even then, it was still anchored by Marshall Faulk on the ground. But I think they're gonna. It's ball control. We're gonna run, play action, run, play action, run, play action, go deep, run, play. You know what I mean? I think there's gonna be more plays. What they're gonna do, what his offense does is it wins by attrition, which is why you see Jahmyr Gibbs late in games break one 35, 40 yards out, 50 yards, like damn, they were so close, but they keep hitting him in the stomach, hitting him in the ribs, hitting him in the ribs, hitting him in the ribs. 5 yards, 3 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards, 4 yards, 7 yards, 5 yards, 8 yards. And at the end of the game, they bust. And they're just going to wear you down. And that's why I think there's just going to be more plays. They're going to have this, what I was saying, bro. It's 3rd and 4, handoff, 4.5, first down. Defense like, you how many times did you experience that? You thought you had them 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, and he got you by a half yard or a yard. You're like, oh. It's demoralizing for a defense if it happens consistently.
Yes, and also another thing that this is talking about the guts, the nuts and bolts of an offense and how it functions. Little things that they've done in this offseason. I keep saying this over. I've said this so many times during this offseason, and I'm starting to see other people talk about it now. But I just kept seeing, oh man, they're gonna have a mismatch bonanza, man. The mismatches are going to be real. You're just talking about, since we're talking about running backs and things I see inside of different plays that's going to really, really help those guys really exceed in that backfield. You got 2 tight ends that's going to take 2 extra guys out of that hole. And that's just more room and more space for the running back to produce. You got to respect them. It's not like you can, okay, they got this person, that person. We ain't got to really respect it. If those guys get up off that line of scrimmage and go out on routes, you're taking 2 extra guys out of the box. When you think about it that way, you see I can literally formulate different things that they're going to be able to get out of that, man. That's when it comes in handy for your wide zone runs, your sprint draws and things like that. When you're taking those extra guys out of that hole, that's when they have to respect those 2 tight ends. All those running backs in that room is going to eat a little bit more.
And I'm anxious to see how these tight ends work with each other. I want to see the 12 personnel. Hell, I want to see 13 personnel at time. All right. But I want to see the fact when the more I see both tight ends out in a route, man, I'll be fired up. Because now, we've seen Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet is a really good tight end. Colston Loveland, he's got to make his way into being a good tight end. We saw what he can do when he has a quarterback. 2 years ago when he won the Natty with J.J. McCarthy, he had a quarterback. Last year, he didn't really have a quarterback, so his number slipped. But if this is the Sam Laporta type player that you brought in, imagine him putting up Sam Laporta type numbers. Even if it's half to 3/4 of those numbers, you still got another tight end in Cole Kmet who's going to put up his own numbers himself. So that tight end position is going to be really, really, really helpful for Caleb. He's just got to use it. And I think personally, my own personal conspiracy theory, I just think he was petty last year and didn't throw to Cole just on some just dumb shit. Because Cole was open plenty of times. And to the end of the year, he was like on the back of a milk carton, wouldn't throw the ball. No targets. Was it 2 games, maybe 3 games? He had no targets. Tight end, you're well paid tight end, no targets. There's something.
You sound like kids right about now. I think he damn near had delivered a small child on one of the live shows talking about that. And it was definitely obvious. There's like something's going on that we don't know about. He didn't favor Cole Kmet whatsoever. And to me, that's on Caleb, man. That's on Caleb. He missed some opportunities. I mean, to really, really improve on his numbers, number one, but to move chains at the different times and keep from getting a sack at different times. I don't know what all that was about, man. I think he kind of fell into, okay, I see stuff coming open. People talking all that stuff about Shane Waldron. Some of that stuff was called really well, and it just they didn't execute the play the way it was supposed to, man. A lot of times I've seen on the all-22, but that's in the past. They're gone now. He's going to have to really, I think, if Ben Johnson puts his foot on Caleb's neck and say, you know what, you're going to be great in the short area. You're going to really learn to respect the tight ends and how we scheme them open, and you're going to use them. Because I'm not going to call plays down the field until I see that you can do that. He's got to systematically change that fundamentally about Caleb, about wanting that ball deep down the field and taking the, you ain't going to never go broke taking free money.
No.
Take it. That's what he's got to get in his head. You're not going to throw the ball down the field 30 times a game, dude. You're going to chunk that ball off in short areas, the dump offs, the wide receiver screens, the running back bubble screens, and all that stuff is going to make the team eat, not you and your stats.
There's an old saying in trading, when you're trading, it says you can't go broke taking profits.
Yep.
You can't go broke taking profits. You get a 3-yard, even if it's a 2-yard gain, it's not a 7-yard loss, and it keeps you ahead of the chains. And I think that was the most important thing. And your thoughts on and Ben and Caleb, because one of the things that everyone talked about, Justin Fields wanting to be a home run hitter or big game hunter. That was Caleb too. And that was the reason he had a lot of sacks. He wanted that deep ball. He wanted that stuff. How important is it going to be in his development for him to take the dump off to the Roshan Johnsons, to the DeAndre Swifts, to the Kyle Manung guys, to the Cole Kmets, and to the Colston Loves? How important is that going to be for him? And how is he going to have to change his mindset to do that? Because if he does, man, we're looking at a whole nother league, whole nother level unlocked on Caleb.
Yeah, before I get to that, shout out to my guy in the chat. I haven't seen him for a long time. My man from Puerto Rico, Jose Sanchez. Shout out, baby.
Dirty Sanchez is back, baby. He's back.
I ain't seen him in a while. I had to get that off, man. But it's gonna come down to discipline, Shawn. It's all discipline. Teaching that guy, making sure that, hey, man, look, it's not exactly what you want per se. Like, this ain't the play that I would want to run at this particular time, but it's a play that's going to advance us and move these chains. You got to be discipline him enough to where he takes those money throws, those little, I'm telling you, 15 yards and in, Shawn. 15 yards and in, that's where he's going to eat. And Ben Johnson has to train that kid to acknowledge those little dump off passes. And this is going to be 85% of what Caleb's yardage is going to look like, catch and run. You got all these mismatch nightmares out there. All these guys, you talking about coupling up 2 tight ends. Let's just say you put them on one side. You put them on one side, and the kind of stuff that they can open up with layered routes and stuff, concepts like that. Then you put DJ and Luther Burden on the same side. You're talking about coupling them up in bunch formations and different things like that. There's going to be little stuff like that. Zero pass, and that means one of those, you throw that behind the line of scrimmage and the blockage is set up for you to run the ball. Those little things like that, he's just got to learn to get okay with those calls. Now, I don't know how well it's going to set in on him when he's got a game like that where he's hasn't thrown the ball past a 20-yard throw. There's going to be a lot of games like that where he doesn't throw that ball past 20 yards. But they're going to be eating if they get this stuff blocked up right, and we'll get W's off of it. So you just got to get past that.
You subscribe to the theory, and this is my theory, that Ben Johnson is – we're not going to be big game hunters. We are going to take shots downfield, but we're not going to be big game hunters. Where that's the essence of our offense. I think we talked about the short game. I want him, if he masters the short game to the point where, like Kansas City and other teams on 4th and 1, they're throwing slants, they're throwing quick hits, they're doing something. They're not even thinking about running the ball. Kansas City not so much anymore, but other teams. I want us to get to that level of confidence in our short game where he can literally do it with his eyes closed. Like 1, 2, 3, throw. All right. I know the receiver's going to be on the slant. He's going to be there. Ball's going to be there. He's going to catch it. First down. That's the level of precision that I want from this offense, because if they're able to work on automatic basically for the short game, what is that going to do for the long game? What's that going to do when double moves happen? How's that going to help this offense and really scare the hell out of defenses when they keep getting beat? Then you watch film like they're going to do a double move. So now, how's it going to, as a DB, how would you play it, or as you prepare as a team that you saw would eat up everything on the short side, short yard passes, but then go deep after? How would you play that? Or how would you, when you study that, how would you approach the game?
I'm definitely going to be in cloud coverage, in particular, a lot of clouding it up. And because we're playing a quarterback in his second year with a brand new offense, I'm not sure that he knows what he sees. And so I'm going to just cloud it up and muddy it up as much as I can. But knowing a guy that's going to really throw the ball in short areas, those 15-yard and in patterns, you're going to naturally, your defense is going to start clamping up and playing down into closer to the box in the line of scrimmage. And that's phase 2 of his growth. Once he gets to that point, now you're starting to open up the playbook because people aren't respecting you throwing the ball down the field. That's phase 2 of his learning. And he'll start respecting it that, okay, I'm ready it's time to start, taking some shots. And he will. There's going to be times in the season where he takes 2 and 3 shots down the field. It'll advance out to 5 and 6 shots down the field, depending on what team he's going up against. Let's just say in particular, Minnesota, since they're first up on the docket. So that game is going to be very, very interesting. You're dealing with a wild blitzer, and he likes to come all over the place. And this is where the 2 tight ends will come in handy against those guys, man. Those guys, you're going to take a couple of extra guys out of the box and open up some running room for the running backs. And to me, that's how you beat blitzing defenses. You run the ball straight at them. You know what I mean? So I think he's going to learn what he needs to learn in a couple of phases. By the time we get to the 4th phase, they've got the playbook open a whole lot more. But in the first phase and the second phase, that first phase is definitely going to be the yak stuff. Throw that ball out, get that ball out fast, get accustomed to this offense. We'll get you to phase 2 where the defenses are starting to clamp down on you and you're starting to see some looks down the field. Attack them then. But early in the season, you're gonna have to make them respect that running game. You're gonna have to make them respect you in the short area, or none of this is gonna work. But one thing has to come before the other.
Good call. Yeah, I agree. I love it. I'm anxious. I just think there's so much good on this team. Let's talk about the offensive line. All right. We talked about RB2 position. All right. Offensive line, that left tackle position. Your thoughts on it, Braxton Jones. All right, coming off that ankle injury. All right, then you got an Ozzie Trapillo, You drafted him out of BC, that mountain of a man. You still have Kieran Amagaji, who they screwed that young man up. First you throw him against a Pro Bowler in Minnesota, and then he doesn't dress the following week after he got his ass handed to him, but he's still in the mix. Give me your thoughts on the offensive line, and especially that left tackle position.
The key to it is the faster they get the left tackle situation resolved, and somebody clear and just clears himself over the pack. The sooner they get to resolving that, the faster. I don't care how good any offensive line is. I don't care how good the pieces are. You have a problem if you don't have enough reps with all those guys together. They need the reps. And I said this over and over again. I think it'll take a couple of games for them to get to where they need to be and become the offensive line that I think they can become. And, little things like, I was just talking to you about this before, passing a pass rusher off to the next guy, the guy next to you. Just the symmetry of that, making sure your feet don't get crossed. You know what I mean? Making sure you got proper width between each other. Just knowing that about the person next to you takes a lot of reps. You know what I mean? You got to get that down. But I think, again, I don't care how good the pieces are. If they don't have enough reps, they're going to struggle too. But I'd say I think we have a high probability of having a couple of Pro Bowlers off this line. I ain't talking about Joe Tooney. He's a given. I think JonahJackson. I think Darnell Wright. I think possibly it depends on who they pick for that left tackle spot, man. I think can have a pretty good year, man. I think the choices they have are pretty good. It wouldn't surprise me if Braxton Jones came back and gave them, all of them, every bit that they want for a run. You know what I mean? I don't know if he ends up being it doesn't make good sense to keep Braxton Jones as the starter, knowing that if you're not going to pay him, why are you letting him take those reps? You know what I mean? You need guys that's getting reps over there. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I do like the pieces, but I think what everybody that's in this crowd right now and in this chat right now should know, everybody that's listening to us should know that it doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take time on the grass, time together to get to where they need to be. But I think they'll be fine once enough reps happen. I think in a couple games, I think we'll start seeing some sound, cohesion between all of them.
Okay. Approximately when? I'll tell you when I think, though, the offense will click for this year. Because like I said, next year, training camp, and the season starts, going to be a completely different offense, more comfortable, more relaxed, more in sync offense than this year. But approximately what game do you think it might click for this offense?
The whole offense, I think we're talking. So I think that, Shawn, I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't think they get into, if they get by game 6, if they're a quarter way into the playbook that they have designed, they might have some stuff, 4 quarters of a playbook already designed for Caleb Williams and the offense to get to. But, I think he's going to tell them, and the offense is going to tell them how much of that they can get to. I think by the time the season's over, I think if they're lucky, they'll get to 3 quarters of it. There'll still be a lot of stuff left on the editing room floor. And I think they'll actually, if they're smart, they'll be upgrading that playbook as they go. They'll see some stuff they like and really, really kind of key into it and add some stuff to those layers. And there'll be some stuff and some pages they want to snatch out. It's like, I don't like that. I don't like how they look in this. They can't run it right. Different things like that. But totally, I think if they get to 3 quarters of the playbook by the time the season is over, I think it's a good job done. And I think Caleb will start seeing, and the offense will start seeing some consistency somewhere between 6 and 8 games, I feel.
Okay. I said by week 10. I said week 10, that offense should be as smooth as it's going to be this year. Not next year. Next year's a whole other thing. They're going to be a lot smoother. But I say week 10, starting week 10, that offense is going to be as smooth as it's going to get this year. And I think that's when they're going to, obviously, those first 9 weeks, iron out all the kinks in that. And I just think that they're going to learn, who's playing, how do I do this? I know I did this in practice and they can't touch, but how does it work in the game, in actual game time situations? There's going to be a lot of self-discovery, in my opinion, in those first 10 weeks. And I think at that point, this offense is going to have a really good handle on itself. Caleb's going to have a really good handle on his personnel, who can do what, who am I going to go to in these types of certain situations. So, yeah, I say week 10. So you said 16, I say week 10. So
it's a good call, Shawn. It's a really good call. You got to think about it in this way. let's just say, the formation I keep seeing over and over that they're successful with is the trips bunch, condensed trips bunch. Let's just say they have 12 different plays that they really, really like, they want to get off. But in the end of it, that formation by itself, there's only like 3 or 4 that he really, really likes, and the offense really, really likes. You just hold on to those, and you just keep on expanding off of them. And different formations they'll tell you on the field, okay, I like this play. I think we just need to rep this a little bit more in practice. That's the development of a playbook based on the personnel that you have, and just going to adjustment mode on the fly. Now, I don't know what goes on with Ben Johnson, the way he sees stuff, but I see great in-game adjustments to what he's seeing on the field. I mean, it's great stuff, man. It's great stuff to watch, and that's a breath of fresh air based on what we've seen for the past few years, man. No in-game adjustments, and Ben, that's kind of where he excels, man. And so I like that. I love it, as a matter of fact, and I can't wait to. Again, I'll say this again, Shawn. I've said this to you a couple times. Caleb is just a renter. He's an occupant of this offense right now. He does not own it yet. Ownership takes time. The ownership takes time. He can really dictate the flow of a game once he owns that offense.
And that's what I mean when I say this in 2016, it's going to be a different scenario, because Caleb Williams is not learning a new offense. Rome Odunze is not learning a new offense. DJ Moore, Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monunga, they're not learning new offenses. All right. There's a level. We all know how whenever we started our first job, we were just raw. They had to tell us what to do. We made tons of mistakes because we weren't familiar with it. That's why I say after week 10, those last 7 games, we're going to see a good example of what this offense can be. And then I think it's going to take off from there in 2026. And I said it on my show plenty of times. I can't wait till the 2026 season. I can't wait. I want to be present here and enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy watching this team grow and get to that point. It's like, remember the Blackhawks when they drafted, Taze and Kane, and for all you scrub fans, all right, when you got Brian and Rizzo and all those guys, and you saw them grow up together. That's what it's going to be like for me in 2025 for this Bears team. Your thoughts on how far the Bears can go. All right, let's talk about the NFC North for a quick second before we let you go. All right, Green Bay, Jordan Love likes to throw the ball to the opposing teams. Detroit just lost their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, some of their other assistant coaches. All right, and Minnesota's starting a rookie quarterback. Where do you think the ceiling for the Bears is this season?
Before I answer that question, I want to say this before I forget about it. Another thing that we should add to the conversation about Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, that dynamic, is one thing I've noticed, and Shawn, I want to see what you think about this, but I noticed the confidence between a play caller and his quarterback. I know it's a lot of confidence between them when I start seeing a lot more tempo. When I start seeing a lot more tempo, that means to me that play caller is very, very confident in that quarterback's control of the offense and him knowing where to go with the football, and he'll just up the ante a little bit, press the gas a little bit, get in tempo and kind of stay in tempo until teams figure out an answer for it. I think that's probably going to be a tell where Caleb Williams is with Ben Johnson. The dynamic between the two. You start seeing a whole bunch more of that, there's some confidence between the two of them. That's one. How do you feel about that?
You use confidence. I use symmetry. I use connectedness because they both see in the same thing. And when he starts to see the field and see the game the way that Ben Johnson is, man, it's on and popping at that point.
They're running right through people like a knife through
butter, bro.
They're running through people now because you got not only mismatches. Now you can go in the tempo and really put a defense on his heels, and you can execute in that kind of situation, man. You now you keeping dudes on the field, and they got personnel groupings out there that they don't want, but you're in tempo.
Yes.
Now you got to call timeouts and different stuff like that. That's how you take advantage of defenses, man.
Yep.
So, but to your point about where I think we can go, it all goes back to what I just said just now about the symmetry between the coach and the quarterback. How well can Caleb get a grasp of this offense. But here's why I think I feel like I'm in that 8+ win category is because I do think we have a strong defense to set the baseline for us. I think those guys are going to keep us in games, going to give us the advantage in games at times win them. You know what I mean? That defense, I don't think that's just a good core of guys on paper. I think they're going to eat off of each other. And so I got more confidence, especially in the early part of the season, in the defense keeping us where we need to be than I do the offense, just because it's so new. Not because I dislike the quarterback. No. I just know it takes time. But that's why you go get a coach like Dennis Allen that knows what he's doing. He knows that the bulk of what the Bears production looks like and whether or not we win games, a lot of that's going to be on him. In the early part of the year, it's going to be a lot on Dennis Allen and how he calls that defense, keeping them in games, getting them behind the sticks, that kind of stuff. And that's going to give the offense a better opportunity. So I say, depending on how well this defense gets on other teams, is going to dictate how well this offense performs early. And so I'm putting us in the 8 to 10 win category, 8, 9, 10 wins. I think we're going to be okay, especially against Minnesota. I do think we can beat them, just because they have a brand new quarterback. But here's the flip side to that. That coach, man, is really, really good with QBs, man. And so he might get that guy up to speed better and quicker than we might think. So we'll see, man. I'm not as confident about Detroit. I still think they're very, very strong. Green Bay, I've said this many times. I do think they have a very strong team. And I think Jordan Love right now, as of now, is the better quarterback. Do they have a better defense than us? We'll see. But I think we'll compete with them. Right now, I'll give them the edge. I might change my mind once I get done watching training camp.
Man, Nomad, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on. Do me a favor, though. Let everybody know where they can find you and your work online.
At the Nomad Network on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter. I'm there. I'm not there. But that's mainly where you can find me is on YouTube. Hey, stay tuned for tonight. We got some extra sauce coming up. We got some old guys coming, and one of them is in the chat now, Bishop. I look forward to seeing you tonight, man. I cannot wait. We're going to have a family reunion tonight, man. It's going to be fun. Hopefully Sam will be there, and we're going to talk about some football for quite some time, man. We're going to continue the conversation we had, Shawn, the other night on Nomad at Night about the defense and where I think we are, the different position changes. We're going to talk about some particular guys and see if they, get that run at safety, some of the corners and different things we got on the team. Going to have a deep analysis tonight about what I think that should look like and what these guys on the show think that should look like. But it's going to be fun, man. Make sure you guys tune in for that. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Central tonight. Cannot wait. As soon as I'm off of here, I'm going to get ready for that show. And so it's going to be fun, man. But I appreciate having me on, Shawn. It was fun.
Man, great stuff, buddy. We'll talk soon.
All right. Gotcha.
Thanks. Guys, that's Nomad from the Nomad Network, talking Bears football with your boy. Man, 2 hours is coming and going. I want to thank my guys, Josh Hicks, for coming on, talking Bulls. Bulls basketball with you guy. All right, and I want to thank my man Nomad for coming on, talking Bears football with me. Great stuff. I was supposed to be on that show tonight with Nomad. Unfortunately, one of our members at CrossFit Warehouse who comes to our 5 o'clock class passed away. Was in a car accident this weekend, and she passed away. And today's the wake. So we're going tonight at 6 o'clock as a CrossFit box. So we're all going to be there. And I don't know. I talked to Nomad, said I don't think I'll be able to. We're probably going to be there, and we're going to support the family and the whole nine. So if we do get out early, I may hop on, but otherwise I won't be there. But hey, listen, guys, have a phenomenal day. All right. Great talking to you. Cornelius Squalls, Keith Harris, the Bishop checking in. Jose Dirty Sanchez from PR. Man, thanks for checking in. I appreciate it. Listen, I got to run. I got to go pick up the warden from CrossFit. I'm actually taking cupcakes because it was her birthday yesterday. So I'm taking cupcakes for the class. And going to get their sugar numbers really, really sky high. All kidding aside, hey, you know what I tell you all the time? Let your loved ones know you love them, because tomorrow is promised to no one. And believe me, I'm going through that right now, because man, it's one day you're here, one day you're not, and it's man. So anyway, guys, I'm going to replay this at 6, so you can check it out later tonight. So, from everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, guys, I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. Have a great day. Your boy is out.
Come on, race the race.